Okay, so about everything that could go wrong with the video went wrong with the last video. Cameras died, cameras fell off the windows, and cameras didn't last till the time we landed. So I'm gonna use it as a chance to explain what an RNAV approach is.
Concordia traffic, Skyhawk 12751 left, final for 18 Concordia traffic.
Did good? Okay. Did real good.
Oh my gosh!
So when you're flying IFR, this is what an RNAV approach looks like in real life. So I'm gonna kind of show the map and I'm gonna explain it and we're gonna get it figured out. So this is the RNAV 17 into KGRI, Grand Island, Nebraska.
Grand Island Tower, Skyhawk 12751. We are 18 miles to the southeast, and we are planning on doing the practice RNAV for 17. We are direct to Victor Echo Charlie Foxtrot uniform with information Alpha.
November 12751, Grand Island Tower. Information Bravo current. Advise once you have that. Remain outside Class Delta airspace till you're north of the airport. And just advise once you're north of the airport and we'll get you started on your practice approach.
So this is our RNAV chart right here. So when we're flying in, we are going to be coming from the bottom of this chart. And we are trying to get to VECFU, which is Victor Echo Charlie Foxtrot uniform. It is off to the right. You can see it in the star. That is where we're trying to go. But right now, there is an Airbus and another aircraft landing. And we're just doing a practice IFR, so it's not a real IFR. So they're trying to get all this traffic in at once. So they're basically like, hey, wait, you're not first priority here. We'll get you in, go spend some time flying around. So that's what we're gonna do here.
November 12751, be advised, I do have an Airbus 320 and a Beech 1900 inbound within the next 10 minutes, runway 17. Just be advised, if you're still executing the approach when they're coming in, we'll probably pull you off and send you send you a direction to deconflict.
Okay, Roger.
Roger 751. Okay. Grand Island Tower, November 12751. We'll just hang out here out to the east and you can let us know when we can do the approach.
751, Roger. I copy. You're going to be 5 miles east of VECFU at 4,500. Is that correct?
Roger 751.
Yeah, if we was IFR on a flight plan, they wouldn't tell us to be.
Go fun around.
Yeah, go, come back after a while. No, center to have that all worked out.
Okay.
And center would already know, and he might have started giving you vectors, 20 miles from Grand Island. He's going to start spacing everybody out,
So as my instructor states here just a second ago, he would be giving us vectors, which basically means he's going to give us directions and he's going to put the aircrafts in order so that when they come into land, it's all smooth. So that's what he's talking about when he's talking about vectors and coming into land. Okay, so here I'm going to ask the controller, the air traffic controller in the tower, is it okay for me to head to that point, which is Victor Echo Charlie Foxtrot uniform? The reason we have these points is because we're practicing for conditions when you can't see anything. And so you need structured points that you're able to navigate to, which will lead you in. And so if you can't see where the airport is, how are you supposed to know how far away you need to be, where you need to come into land? So this is going to get us to that point, which is then, as you can see on the chart above, it's going to lead us into the runway.
Grand Island Tower, Skyhawk 12751. Are we okay to head in toward Victor Echo Charlie Foxtrot uniform?
November 12751. Traffic 3 mile final Airbus 320. Maintain VFR. Runway 17 RNAV practice approach is approved.
Okay. We were not sure what was up with this tower controller. He answers back in this call.
Now, why that clown didn't, he cleared him to land. Why that clown didn't call us and said,
I know.
I don't know. I get so...
It sounded like when he was calling us back, he was eating his lunch.
Yeah, these contract towers are just a mess.
So this is kind of where the start of all the confusion comes. But as you can hear in that call, he approved us to go to that point and that we were cleared for the practice 17 RNAV approach.
No separation services will be provided. Report crossing Wickfeet inbound.
So he's basically saying, go to this point and follow the path all the way in, which are GPSs on our aircraft, tell us when to turn, all that stuff. We can see it in front of us. He's basically saying when you get to Wickfeet, I'll point up on the map, when you get to this point, call me back, tell me where you're at, what you're doing. I want to stay in the loop is basically what he's saying. So since this is a mock IFR flight, my instructor is going to tell me here, maintain 4,500 until established on the approach. So when we get to that point that we talked about earlier, we can drop down to where it says 3,500. So, but until then, we got to stay at 4,500. So he's basically mocking what Center would be telling me.
And then maintain 4,500, you're clear for the approach, and to the 17. They'll establish. That would be what Center would say to you.
So you're also going to hear in this point, he's going to ask us how it's going to terminate. He's wondering what's going to happen. Are you going to come to a full landing? Do I need to kind of figure out where you're going to taxi? Where are you headed? And we're basically just telling him, hey, we're just going to be on the mist. So we're already planning a mist approach. We're just going to come down. We're going to fly out of here. So you don't really have to worry about us on the ground.
In November 12751, I advise you make best speed inbound and say intentions after this approach.
Planning on the missed approach, departing to the south. November 12751.
November 12751, roger.
So all of these things have super weird names and super hard to pronounce. That's why we use the phonetic alphabet to do it. But here we talk about they're 5-letter identifiers and they're used all over the world. And so they have to have different ones all over. And so it's just kind of random letters. So it's kind of hard to say. So we use the phonetic alphabet. That's what we were talking about here.
Okay, let's go ahead and run it up to about 2,500. We'll get scooting along here. He must have somebody else coming.
I was supposed to let him know Weesey or Wissify.
Wiki, Swishy, or, well.
They make those really hard.
Yes, they are. Those are 5-letter identifiers all over the world, so they come up with some weird letter combinations. I don't know if you can go to college to figure out how to pronounce those.
Like even he didn't know how to say it when he said it back.
Yeah.
So this part normally isn't what happens. For some reason our push to talk button got stuck and he couldn't hear us because if we're always transmitting, he can't transmit back. It's kind of like a walkie-talkie. If somebody's always holding the button, you can't hear anybody. And so he's trying to figure out where we're at and what we're doing in this point. And really he doesn't need to because he's already told us that he should know where we're at, and he's already told us that we need to call him at this point. But he can't get a hold of us, so that's what's going on here.
Yeah.
Push to talk keys.
Appear to be losing comms with a Cessna Skyhawk established on the RNAV runway 17 practice approach.
Grand Island Tower, implied 1682 copies. I'll enter a left downwind. Departure runway 17.
November 12751, Grand Island Tower, you have been unresponsive on communications. If you copy this, I've gotten a bunch of static and sounds like people talking in the background. If you have another radio, please switch over to it and contact Tower 118.2.
Quick break in the video for the word for today. So I was listening to a sermon this week and it was talking about how the devil wants to desensitize us. And I thought it was really good because I think a lot of us struggle with this, that we just do things without any feeling behind it. We don't have any feelings when we do things that are wrong. And they struggled with this 2,000 years ago. Here's exactly what the Bible says in Ephesians 4:18. They are darkened in their understanding, alienated from the life of God because of the ignorance that is in them, due to the hardness of their heart. They had become calloused. and they had given themselves up to sensuality, greedy, and the practice of every kind of impurity. I think we do that. I think we have turned our rebellion in our lives, rebellion from the things God says, into routine. And like cussing, having sex, all the things, watching porn. There's so many things in this life that we just, people get caught up and they just do it. And there's no feeling behind it. There's no conscience. There's no still small voice in their head saying you shouldn't have done that. And if that's you, I just challenge you to think, who do you belong to? Because if you're a child of God and you have that voice in your head that's like, man, I shouldn't have done that, and you go and repent, then dude, you're in the battle. But if you don't have any voice in your head after you cuss or watch porn or have sex that says, man, you should not have done that, that is not God honoring. I just challenge you to check your life. Who do you belong to? So don't let rebellion turn into routine. Thank you guys. Back to the video.
Okay, Grand Island, how do you read 751?
Number 12751, Ivy loud and clear, safe position.
So here he gets back to us and he's like, hey, how fast are you going? Because I'm trying to space everyone out. And so he's wondering what our speed's going to be so he can kind of get a grasp on how quickly people are going to be coming in and out.
November 12751, say airspeed.
We are going to be doing 100 November 12751.
Okay, so at this point on the map, we are 4 miles from Wickfee. So we are turned inbound and headed toward the runways on the line, as you can see shown above. We're going fast. Normally we wouldn't be going this fast, just to slow it down so I can kind of get a grasp on things. We're going fast because we know there's planes, he's trying to get in there. And so in this call, he tells us, hey, there's gonna be a plane right in front of you, maintain visual separation, so it's on you. It's on you to keep your distance away from this plane, which is kind of frustrating because we were speeding up to get in there and then he just puts a plane in front of us. So that's a little bit what's going on. You can kind of see there coming almost into land, and I'll kind of put an aircraft on there just so you can see.
November 12751, roger, report crossing Wickfee, traffic midfield. Left down on runway 17 Beach 1900, you're going to be behind him. Brake in flight 1682. If able, keep it as tight as you can. Runway 17 wind calm, clear to land. Traffic 4 miles north of Wickfee inbound Cessna 172.
Copy traffic, number 1 to the field, 17 clear to land.
Okay, let's go ahead and slow it back. Slow it back to 80. This clown, he's speed up, slow down.
November 751, previously called traffic, appears to be about to beam the approach on runway 17, starting their base turn. Advise if you get traffic in sight.
We're looking November 12751.
So basically, he's coming into land. So he's here, he's basically saying, hey, start looking for this guy and then let me know if you see him. So we're gonna start looking. I obviously have the foggles on in this case, so I can't see anything. We're simulating IFR. So my CFI is looking around for me. So he's gonna let them know when he can see them. So as you're gonna hear here, we can't see him. And so my instructor's gonna call in and say, hey, where is he at?
Yeah, it says the 751, where's that traffic now?
And he's gonna say he's basically almost right about to land right now. And so we know we're clear. He's far ahead.
Short final runway 17.
Okay. All right, we're good.
Okay, so whenever we get a mile from the final approach fix, I'm gonna put that right up here. I'll put an arrow to it. Whenever we get a mile from the final approach fix, we're gonna do our gumps, gas, undercarriage, mixture, pumps, seat belts. We're also gonna pull carb heat at that time. It's just getting all of the stuff we need to get done and ready to land. So that's a mile from the final approach fix. And then about the time we hit the final approach fix, our diamond is going to center, and we're gonna add our first 10 degrees of flap.
Okay, a mile from Wiki, so final approach fix, checklist.
Okay, we
Alpha Roger, runway 17.
gas is on both, undercarriage down to welded, mixture is full rich, pumps are not equipped, seatbelts are on, curb heat is coming in.
This is good experience. This
In flight 1682, I appreciate your assistance on inbound.
this is
No
like
problem, happy to help.
this is like a clown show.
As you can hear here, we're a little bit frustrated. My instructor calls it a clown show, and so that's what we were talking about right here. We were just a tad bit frustrated. We didn't know what was going on. It's a little annoying that he's putting people in front of us, speeding up and slowing down. It's a little bit of a mess, but good experience for me, so I'm glad we got to have that. So at this point, you're gonna hear me say my diamond touched the center.
Okay, my diamond just touched the line.
Okay, so about 10 degrees flaps, and then
Follow it down.
follow the diamond. Keep the diamond and the needle, the line centered, and you'll show up at the runway.
Which basically means from now on out, I'm no longer following an altitude, which I was before. At that point, the altitude is 3,500, so I'm no longer at 3,500. I'm going to now follow the diamond. And if the diamond goes down, then I go down. If the diamond goes up, I go up. So I follow the diamond, which is gonna lead me all the way down to the runway. There's also another line on here that's basically gonna keep me side to side straight with the runway. So if it goes to the left, I need to go to the left. If it goes to the right, I need to go to the right. And so following those two things, it's gonna bring me right down to the runway.
So this is an LPV, so when we hit the altitude, you don't level off, do you?
No.
It's a decision.
Okay.
So what he's talking about here is this is a decision altitude. So it gives you it in the LPV section in the bottom, which I'll point to right here. It is 2,044 feet. So when I hit 2,044 feet, if I can't see the runway, I'm out of there. And so in this case, I've got the foggles on and we're simulating IFR. And so my instructor's gonna call the runway. So if he doesn't say runway's in sight, clear to land, then it's an immediate up and out of there. We don't wanna hit anything, we can't see where we're landing. So we're out.
So when the needle comes around again, that's my miss.
Yep.
So at this point, I'm referring to my analog altimeter. So there's a little needle that goes around, and I'm saying when it hits this point, when it goes around to this point one more time, that's when I've hit my decision altitude, and I gotta get out of there. Or I gotta land, depending on if I can see the runway. Okay, so at this point on the diagram here, you can kind of see where I'm at. I'm right above the runway. You can see by the video, I'm right next to the runway. I'm at my decision altitude, 2,044 feet.
Runway is not in sight. We're going to missed approach.
He didn't call the runway. So I'm up and out of there. So he's gonna tell me here in a second, hey, go let tower know what you're doing. You know, let everyone know what you're doing. You're going missed approach.
And just tell tower missed approach.
Grand Island Tower, Skyhawk 12751 on the missed approach. Flaps are coming up.
Now, okay, activate missed approach. That'll take you to the missed approach point.
Okay.
So here he's basically gonna say, keep going south, and when you're out of my way, when you're out of my airspace that I'm in control of, let me know, and you can head on to wherever you need to go.
November 751, roger. Southbound departure approved. Report exiting class Delta airspace.
So this is all just basically a map. You're basically following points, following altitudes to keep you above things, to keep you on track to land. And so all of these points are points where you can report, they know where you're at, you know where you're at, and once you get to the final approach fix, you know, your instruments in the aircraft are gonna really bring you down to where you need to be. But this is just the map. It tells you what to do if you've missed the approach. That's right up above too. I'll point to that. It's gonna tell you what frequencies you need to be on. It's basically your map for IFR. You need to look at it, you need to figure it out before you're there. And so it gives you everything you need to know. So hopefully I explained it all pretty well. You kind of get to know what an IFR RNAV approach looks like. This is what I'm learning. This is how to do it. This is just a simple pilot's explanation on how to do it. I'm learning it too. And so hopefully it gave you a basic understanding of what's going on, what I'm looking at, and what I'm doing. So that was the RNAV runway 17 into KGRI. Okay guys, thanks for watching. I hope you now have a little bit of understanding on what is going on, what's going on in my mind, what's going on in my iPad as I'm landing, what I'm learning. I hope you understand the RNAV approach. Thanks for watching, like and subscribe, and from wheels up to touchdown, until next time when you take off with Tate. Thank you guys.